So coming to the next part, which is our learnings when we built this Trains app. Uh, I mean, Trains is like, you all know, it's like the, the biggest transactional product in India. There are more transactions on trains than any other mode of transport. And obviously it's because it's the mode of transport of the masses and everybody uses it. But when you build a product for the masses, for a country like India, you need to understand that it comes with its own nuances of knowing exactly who those people are, knowing that audience is really, really important. And that's where the difference was, we had been building products for India, but this time we had to kind of change our mindset. We had to look very deep inside and understand who those people were, what they wanted, what their problems were. And kind of work around that, build products which solve those problems for them. So the biggest learning was, I think there's some problem with, okay, it's going back and forth. So this is the first point was actually about building products in their local languages. So like I am not able to get back to this slide, is somehow moving away. But okay. So the start is that by 2020, there will be roughly about 500 million users, internet users, you can go after as an opportunity among the top 5 Indian languages itself, right? And the fact is that non-English content in India is growing 10 times faster than English, and there is a dearth for non-English content because people need content. It's not there. And believe me, we thought that, translating our app, Trains app especially in other languages, what sense did it make? Because most of the time you've got schedules of trains which are like timetables. Like time is in English, right? It's just numbers. And, the names of the trains are in English, not in Hindi, but no big problem, right? And there's some buttons. But, when we actually looked at people who didn't know how to read and write, then we realized that they didn't even know how to figure out what those buttons were. Only the icons were helping them figure out, okay, this icon is for this, that icon is for that. And that's when we realized that, this language problem is there. It needs to be solved. And, we built a product which was language ready. We translated into top 8 Indian languages. We started writing content in local languages. We started writing news articles. We started writing a lot of things. We started sending push notifications in different languages. And believe me, we saw like 10 times more CTR on those push notifications than we used to see on normal English push notifications for the same sort of audience. So that was building for regional languages and localizing your apps. The second one was make your app lightweight. And for like a couple of years, we kept on fighting with this idea that, the whole world is moving so fast. The mobile phones are becoming more powerful. It has more storage and all those things. Believe me, all of these changes, they're only for the people who live in India, not for the people who live in Bharat. Because if you talk about those people, they still have those phones which are very, very low on storages. And to top it all, not just that problem, the OS itself and some of the pre-burned apps which comes as part of the OEM deals that these phone manufacturers run, about 50% of the space on a handset is already taken up right off the bat when you actually start using the phone. So you're only left with about 50% space on the phone on day one, and that too on a device which on an average in Bharat is about 8 GB or less. Right? So size becomes so important, right? I mean, the stats are out. 1 out of 2 uninstalls in India are still happening because of size of the apps. And that is corroborated by our own surveys that we do post-uninstall, which says that the top reason for people to uninstall is still size of the apps. So we started doing a lot of optimizations for that. We started building apps targeting different devices, and they had different sizes. That helped us grow really, really fast. We realized that for every half megabyte size reduction that we used to do, we used to get like approximately about 1,000 incremental organic install, which is big number, right? We're talking about 30,000 free installs uh, on a daily basis just by reducing your app by like zero point 0.5 MB, which is it's great, right? Uh, so this was one of the biggest learnings, and we continue to do that even today. You would not believe. In fact, a lot of people are toying with the idea of building a very, very lightweight version of their apps, which is wrapped around a progressive web app, which is the new thing in the industry today. It's been around for like 2-3 years now. But if you do have a great progressive web app, it might not be a bad idea to think about kind of building your app, which is totally wrapped around, because it brings down the size significantly. Remember that we are talking about a different target audience. We're talking about Bharat and not India here. And there, the size does matter. And yeah, the last thing, again, we would be thinking about that, internet is, ubiquitous and everybody has access to decent internet bandwidth and all. But the fact is that the average India's internet connection speed is still under 5 Mbps, and that's megabits per second, not megabytes per second. And data cost in India still continues to be one of the highest in the world. I mean, with all these Reliance Jio and all those metrics, it's changing, but tier 2, tier 3 cities still experience the same problem, and that's the kind of people we are targeting, and we are solving these problems for. So what did we do to make that shift and make those users love our app? So we started minimizing data usage. We started making sure that our app works completely in offline mode, even if you don't have internet. Some simple things work. What you say on the Play Store when you have an app and it says that your app works without internet, it has an offline mode. All of those things help a lot, because that's what people are looking for. One of the key things I'll share here, our Trains app has a feature where you can locate a train in real time. Now that feature, it works without internet, it works without GPS. The reason is that when we looked at data, we realized that most of the people didn't have internet while they were traveling on the train. And most of the devices had a very low quality GPS on those handsets. So none of these things were actually making any sense for us, and they were not really working to actually create a product which could predict or which could locate a train in real time accurately. So we started using the telecom network providers. We started using cell tower data, and that worked without internet. That worked without GPS as well.